Okay, I'm Tephanie Hopper. I moved to the borderland over 30 years ago. So just to tell you.
All right, well, good morning, Tephanie.
Good morning.
How are you?
Michelle. I'm good.
It's so great to be here talking to you, and thank you for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to share with us how you're creating culture around books. I know this is a little bit of a newer venture for you, but it's not a new passion. So I had the pleasure actually of attending one of your events, and one of your events was you had a really awesome collaboration at Wine Down Socorro, where you invited us to come and experience some of the books that you have and do a wine tasting with them, which I thought was really, really cool. I'd never done that before, so that was really neat. And the wines were all local, so I thought that was great too. So I feel like you're, really a culture creator on so many levels already with the books, and then of course even within the human resources space as well. So we're going to break all that down, but first and foremost, if you could let everybody know here in El Paso, the borderland, and anyone that's going to be visiting, just a little bit more about who you are and why you decided to get into the book store.
Okay, I'm Tephanie Hopper. I moved to the borderland over 30 years ago. I was in the Army here at Fort Bliss, and I exited out, and I ended up staying here for about 15 years, and I moved to Colorado Springs to work for Space Force, and then I came back about 2 years ago, and now I'm here. So just to tell you about the Colorful Chapters bookstore, which is it wasn't a dream that came, a revived dream. So and I was telling the people at the Wine Down Socorro for the book and wine experience that when I was a junior and senior in high school, I worked in a library, and I wanted to be a librarian, but my dreams were dashed. So my librarian at the time told me that I was too loud and that I talked too much. Yes. To be rude to be a librarian. So
that is crazy. Yeah. How old were you?
I was like 17 or 18.
And she was serious?
Yeah, she was serious.
That's
she was
rude.
Serious.
Wow.
I had worked in the library for 2 years, and just reading books, and I loved it.
Being excited about it.
I was really excited about it. And so she told me that I was too loud and that I talked too much to be a librarian, because back in the days we had to be quiet in the library. You remember?
Yeah, I do.
Could it be a little mouse, and and I do have a voice that carries. So and I guess she was like, you talk a little too loud to be a librarian, because she was a little petite little lady who walked around, and she was a really good dresser. I won't say that she was a good dresser. Okay. And that also is like, I could be a good dresser like her.
That's right.
But so she she would always be saying, don't talk so loud. So when students would come in, you have the students coming to the library, like the 6th graders, 7th graders, and and I would just be talking to them, and so anyways, that's how my dreams were dashed, and I put it on the back burner. But in the recent years, I've had several book clubs through for Team RWB, Team Red, White, and Blue. I had a book club with Space Force, and now I do have a book club here that I started, the Bold and Beautiful Book Club. So I've had 3 book clubs. So I kind of like my dream has come back, and so my husband had sent me a message through Instagram. He sent me a message because we always send memes back and forth to each other and stuff like that. So he sent me a thing that was happening at Old Sheepdog, and I had been speaking about my dream. I want to start a book bookstore, but I wanted to be this and I wanted to be that. And I wanted to have like different things. And I had even told my friend April, like, oh my God, there's a bookstore here in El Paso who I won't name their names, but they kind of took my dream out of my head. But you know, there could be more than one, right?
Of course. Oh, so, there needs to be, doesn't there? Don't you think?
So with that being said, I had told my husband about it and everything like that. And then he told me about the Old Sheepdog Brewery. They had a book festival, a book fair or something before they came up with Pints book fair here recently. So I went to that. And then so some things happened and I started my own pop-up bookstore. I got my EIN number and I, registered with different publishing houses and just started popping up at different events like, Selena and Salsa, Chuco Relic events. And, just kind of Juneteenth, just popping up, selling cultural reads that focus on the books right now are from Black and Brown authors, Black and Brown subjects. And I just want to share, I want to share the joy of reading with the El Paso community. Yeah. That's my goal, to share the joy of reading with the El Paso community. But also we want to provide historical context to some of the books that we have are fiction and nonfiction. And, we have a variety of books, but I wanted to make sure that our community knows their history as well. From Cesar Chavez to Martin Luther King to just all kind of variety of kid books who focus on history, as well as adult books. We have a book called Africa Town about the last slave ships that were docked in Mobile, Alabama, which is where I'm originally from, Alabama.
Wow.
So
okay.
So we have a wide variety of diverse books for diverse audiences.
That's beautiful. And so I'm going to go back a little bit because I'm just flabbergasted by the librarian still a little bit. So I'm just so that really made an impact on you. And I think that's important just to touch on that, because, if you're an adult, be careful what you say to children.
Yes, be careful what you say to kids. You definitely can put a damper on, you can be a dream killer. Don't be dream killers.
Don't be dream killers. We ain't got no time for that.
Don't be dream killers.
Yeah, and then I think it's beautiful that you obviously shared your dream with your husband and he saw an opportunity for you to go and be in that environment at Sheepdog Brewery. They had a book fair or something to that nature. So you went there and you were inspired at that point? Or how did that go?
Yes, I went there and I said, you know what? I can do this. I can do a pop-up bookstore because right now I don't have the funding to start my own brick and mortar or my own bookmobile, but we're working on that too.
That's right.
So what I did was I just kind of went and just started going to different publishing houses to order books and taking the books out of my trunk, they can be very heavy, but that's okay. We're just, taking them out and putting them on different vendor tables. And that's what we are right now. That's what we are right now.
I love that. I love that you just said, you know what, let's just get it started. And we're going to use what we have. And we're going to get the mission going because that's what it's about is the mission. And that is so important. And the response that you had at the event with Wine Down Socorro, because that was a partnership that you started too. And then this is also somewhere where people can go get your books currently, correct?
Yes. So Wine Down Socorro, which is a wonderful spot. They serve, have wine and pizza. But I spoke to her and she said I could have 2 shelves at her location. And I kicked it off at the Book and Wine Experience a few weeks ago. And then a few days ago, she told me that we already sold some books. So that's really exciting.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, really
I didn't even know that. That's wonderful. So you're really your mission is in motion and being fulfilled.
Yeah. So we have some curated books, just for that area. We don't have like a big shelf, but we have two shelves there. And, maybe it'll be like a whole book, whole bookcase in the future. But right now, I'm so grateful for Chris to allow me to come there and provide books and share the joy of reading in Socorro, which is very important to share it. And we have some different books there from, just different types of book based on Black history, Hispanic history. We have a book on St. Francis. We have a positive book on, African-American kids. We have a variety of books there.
That's fantastic. Wow. And so you made the partnership, which is also incredibly important. And I really, want to highlight that, how we can work together in our community.
We can.
And, you don't have to go it alone. I think that's very important. Start making those connections and seeing where, get in where you fit in, and you're supporting someone else and then they're supporting you. That's a really big opportunity that we love to talk about here at 5-Star Conversations in the Sun City.
Yes.
And so you really launched a culture opportunity there, because you did a ribbon cutting to celebrate your entry into and your collaboration with Wine Down. And so you had some books and you had some wine, which I thought was really cool.
Yes.
Where did you come up with that idea?
I was just thinking, what can I do that will be an experience? And since they served wine, I was like, well, maybe I can partner with the wine with the books. So of course, Google is your friend. So I Googled some stuff. I Googled some things, and that's how we came up with it.
That was so great. And then what made you decide? So these were wines that Wine Down already offers?
Yes, these are some wines that Wine Down already offers. I looked at her wine list. I went there a few weeks before. I looked at her wine list, and then we looked at some books, and we kind of talked about, okay, this wine would go good with this book. I'm a Moscato wine drinker. I like sweet wines. Yeah. So, and then we were like, okay, let's look for some different wines that would go with different books. So, the Best Man book, we had that one already, and then we had the My Train Leaves at 3. So we tried to choose books that were a little bit different. I'm a nonfiction reader. I really am. I read a lot of nonfiction.
Same.
And so I was like, okay, I had a lot of nonfiction. I love historical things. I'm a civil rights advocate. So I'm like, okay, let's read about, how to change the world and getting people to vote and all that stuff. And I was like, you know what? We got to do something a little bit different. Yeah. So I tried to, do a little fiction and nonfiction. Romantic comedy, just a diverse background of books. So that's these are the books that I chose. And there's another book that was chosen that for our book club is called The Behind the Scenes of the Secret Society of the Civil Rights Movement of Fundraising and things like that. And that's going to be a part of our book. Let me make sure that I got let me look at here and give you guys the right title, because there's so many different books out there. I want to make sure that we have the right title to share with you all. And
that was great, because everybody was really like, ooh, because that book was talking about the behind the scenes of the civil rights movement and the fundraising. And what I thought was what interests me immediately about that book, and I bought the book, and it's sold out. It's sold out, and I had to replenish it and things like that. But it's about the politics behind it. You know, the civil rights movement. Yes, they boycotted. They were beaten, but the thing is, how did they get the money to do these things? So that was like, okay, the behind the scenes look to furnish or to have the monies for them to do these things, like going to these bus boycotts or all over the country, or signing up to people up to vote. So that they had to get the monies to do that. And so, I think that the reason that I was like, I need this book is because, no matter what it is that you are doing when you're bringing a mission and a vision and a mission forward, it takes organization. And even though, conceptually, I thought, of course, conceptually, I'm like, it's a no-brainer. Of course, it was an organized effort, but I never really thought to dig into it and to really learn, like, how did they how did people come together? How were you able to mobilize so many different people and personalities? I'm sure there were people back then that just were like, just leave it alone. You know, we don't need to stir up the pot. And then there was other people that were like, well, it's worth stirring up the pot because we need it changed. And of course, we're in a political and a social climate right now.
Yes, we are.
That is very highly charged. So just getting to learn how they were intentional about creating that whole movement is just a neat opportunity. Everybody else liked it too, because that was
everybody voted for that one, and I'm going to announce it soon on the Instagram page about our upcoming book club. And
what's the Instagram page again?
It's called Colorful Chapters Bookstore, and as well as on Facebook as well. Colorful Chapters Bookstore. That's the name of the bookstore, and I'm going to be announcing it soon. Once I get more books coming in, because I don't even have the book to read, so I gotta have the book so I can read it at the same time. But I am excited, and I do want to just say who the author is. The author is Tanisha C. Ford. So that's she's a historian, and she teaches at college as well. So this is a wonderful movement. And I'm surprised that, I'm like I said, I'm a nonfiction reader. So I was like, okay, these are all fiction. And you guys chose the nonfiction book, which is right up my alley.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think that also speaks to, it speaks to how people see you as an authority and respect your leadership skills, because, obviously you extended that invitation for people to come, and the people that chose to came were all very instrumental very active people in the community from what I met. We had some soldiers there. We had some people that work at some of the different press outlets. We have people that work in the school system. So you really brought
people that work for the government too.
And people that work for the government.
The city library, yes.
The city library, yes. So I mean, you really brought together a very active group of people. So I think that makes it like not as surprising that was what we chose to dive into together. So and everybody, really, besides, people coming in couples or with their family, nobody seemed to really know each other outside of their individual group they came with or by themselves. But you really brought us together, and we really had a really nice camaraderie. We had a nice conversation around the wine, around the books. And and really are looking forward to connecting over the books. So thank you for creating that experience for us.
Thank you. And I do want to mention my favorite wine was Joe Mama.
Oh yeah, the wine.
Her wine was good. That was so delicious. And then they had the Villa. There was like different types of wine.
Lavina was good. Yeah, Lavina was really good too.
So I will say, if you want those wines, stop by Wine Down Socorro in Socorro, Texas, and enjoy some pizza. And also stop by the shelves of the Colorful Chapters bookstore as well. You can drink wine, and pick up some books and have some pizza. And they also have jazz, which is, I love jazz.
Yes, they have live music. I mean,
they have a lot of things.
Truly is an experience.
It really is.
Right down the street from the east, from every really side of town. You can get there in a relatively, I think within a half an hour or so at most. And it's worth the drive.
It is. It really is worth the drive. It really is worth the drive. So.
Okay, so now moving, kind of switching gears a little bit. And I'll put these down a little bit. So make sure you follow Colorful Chapters Bookstore. And of course, that'll be in the show notes so that you can easily click and follow to the Instagram. But also, so now I want to switch gears a little bit and also talk about more of your leadership, because it just keeps rolling. Your leadership keeps going. And I believe that that's why you attract such active people, because you're very passionate about human resources. And then all this stuff really goes into it, because it's the diversity and the importance of diversity in the workforce, especially in El Paso, well, everywhere, but even in El Paso, knowing, obviously you and I are both Black women.
We are. We are Black women.
We are Black women. And happily so. And we live in El Paso, so understanding the culture here and and really plugging into some of the authors, some of the creatives, and some of the activists here in El Paso is important as well. And so you have an incredible event coming up August 14th.
Yes.
And that is going to be a melting pot of thought leaders and community organizational leaders here in El Paso, really talking about human resources and really putting a different spin on it. Of course, that is called DisruptHR El Paso, because we get to do things different. So can you talk a little bit about that, Tephanie?
Well, Michelle is the MC of the event, so Disrupt HR.
This is the second time that I've gotten to attend the event, and I was the MC last year too. And I'm telling you, first of all, it was sold out, so you want to get your ticket really soon. It definitely sold out, and it was packed out, and everybody was enjoying themselves from the beginning to the end. The energy was off the chain. Wouldn't you say?
Yes. Well, Disrupt HR El Paso 3.0 will take place August 14th at Western Tech. A little bit behind the scenes of what Disrupt HR is. It's like a TED Talk, but very, very fast paced. Mm-hmm. So we have different speakers throughout the community, different leaders, HR professionals, business leaders, consultants who will speak for 5 minutes on a topic that will transform and innovate HR people, business leaders to disrupt HR, to get out of that same old thing, because HR does need to be disrupted. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk about some innovative ideas to change the mode of HR, and let's talk about a little bit about some of the subjects that they're going to talk about. Yes. So they're going to be talking about emotional intelligence in AI. So you can't. I know AI is really the new and big thing, but you cannot take away the emotional intelligence of a leadership, of how you need to be emotionally intelligent to work with your staff or other people. That is so very important, right?
It's so important. I mean, that's almost everything. Yes. I mean, that's the top of everything.
Yes. Emotional intelligence. I know that say AI is coming to take our jobs, but that's another subject. But we want to make sure that we have that emotional intelligence to work with people.
That's right.
And then the other one is the other sub. I've been going through the different slides because they have to have 20 slides that will rotate 15 seconds and speak for 5 minutes. And one of the speakers has a topic of people policy versus policy driven versus people driven. So I am so interested to see what he has to say.
I am that. Too, because that can get kind of interesting or touchy, because it's like sometimes you could probably be too people driven. Sometimes you could be too policy driven. So you got to manage both.
It has to be balanced, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then the other one is called burnout. I don't know all the word, but it's about burnout, and I'm so excited to know about burnout, because people, as African American women, we tend to get burnout because we're doing so much, and we have so many things on our shoulders, and we do understand it's a challenge in the workplace to be the only. I'm usually the only African American working, and it can be a challenge, and it can lead to a lot of burnout. So I'm really excited to hear about what he has to say about burnout. Mm-hmm. And so we had some wonderful subjects last year about.
Last year was awesome.
Yes.
I'm so excited for this year.
Yes. Last year we had HR is not your friend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was touchy.
That was touchy.
And then of course, with the whole astronomer situation, the whole
that was something.
The whole But that's a really we might need to make a little meme on that one to get people interested, because that was such a big, the HR, the CEO at the Coldplay concert, and everyone's kind of talking about HR right now. So that's really, now would be a great time to kind of kind of reel in and lock back in your policies, but do it in a disruptive way. It doesn't have to be boring, but it does need to be addressed.
Yes,
like all across the board.
Yes,
wouldn't you say?
And yeah, and I want to say about the policy is when you write those policies, that means that from the top down, we need to adhere to those policies.
Period.
From the executive director to the HR, because you know in the military is we lead by example. So they didn't lead by example. So we need to ensure that we are the leaders that we want to be. The leaders that people seek, and to be that example for other people as well.
I agree. And then another great topic last year, which I was definitely not expecting, but I thought it was incredible, was I can't remember her last name. Her name was Molly. Yeah, she was talking about the ketamine, for mental health. And I'm like, I was not expecting an HR person to talk, to talk about that, because like, especially, I was a raver, so we called that special K back in the day, but it's just nice to see that, that there are so many cutting edge opportunities to support your employees through addiction. And I'm a big proponent of, and I'm big on understanding how much alcoholism, drug abuse happens in the workplace at the highest levels, and people have no idea, but it needs to be addressed. And HR has an opportunity, I believe, because just to be all the way transparent, when I was living in Kentucky, I went through a very traumatic experience, and I leaned on drugs and alcohol. And I wish that my company, because I didn't remember till after, but we had, some of those things in our insurance, and some of those, what is it called?
The Employee Assistance Program, the EAP program.
Yeah, those types of things.
And speaking of that, we have Rick Cabrera of Hub International, which is our sponsor, to talk about those different types of benefits that employers can provide to their employees, like mental health, and also I want to mention dietitians, and just all different types of things that, we don't, a lot of times we don't know, or we don't take advantage of the benefits of that employer. So he's going to talk even more about benefits as well. So,
and I would love to see a conversation, and obviously he's going to have his own slide, but maybe we could talk about this another time, go deeper into this, but because when it comes to this, it's in this same realm, but I want to go a little deeper into it, because I wonder, and I would love your opinion as someone who is so connected to HR. How does one, because I kind of knew about those programs, but how do you talk about that without feeling like you're going to get in trouble for talking about it?
About
you see what I'm saying? Like
mental health,
I'm having a mental health issue, and I'm leaning on substance abuse. Now I know in this, in this benefit, it says that if you have a substance abuse issue, you can actually use this benefit to go to a treatment program. But how do you, it's scary as an employee,
When you go to EAP, that's supposed to be confidential.
So you contact their liaison, their mediator.
The EAP, the Employment Assistance Program. You would go to them, and that is supposed to be confidential.
Okay. See, I didn't know that, because obviously I was in the thick of it all, and I didn't think it through, obviously, but I think that that would have really saved my life. It would have changed the way that I went about things, but then I would still be in Kentucky and not here. So everything happens for a reason.
Yes. And the other thing too is we want to talk a little bit about mental health, psychological safety, which is very, very important to me and to others. You want to make sure that your team is okay with sharing things, or your team is okay with, not saying fail. Yes, if you make a mistake or whatever, your team needs to be okay to bring these things up to your leadership as well. And, you need to be, and it needs to be okay. I'm sure that, go back to the astronomer person, I'm sure that people knew what was going on.
Correct.
But the people probably didn't feel psychologically safe enough to share it. Hey, he's having a relationship with CHRO.
And then they couldn't go to HR to talk
They
about it
couldn't go to
because she was the
HR
head of
because she
HR.
was HR. So, HR, we need to step up our game. We need to step up
That's
our
right.
game. So those are some great times. We're also going to have a psychologist that will be a part of Disrupt Our HR, Dr. Emilia Candelario, like we had Dr. Lisa Font, and as well as Dr. Patty Delgado. They were the psychologists last year who spoke about different topics, emotional intelligence, psychological safety, and we also had talked about cultural drivers as well. Dr. Patty talked about industrial psychologists. So we have a lot of different people. And this, like I said, like you talked about HR, but it's not just for HR. HR is for business leaders.
Yes.
Business leaders. And as well as people who are passionate about people in the community. And I also want to encourage our students to come out, especially students who are studying HR, because this is like 5 minutes of innovative talk, something that you can take it, put it in your toolbox so that you can use it whenever you become fully employed. And what I do like about it, it is not so long and drawn out. So there's speakers coming up every 5 minutes. So, wow, and they're very passionate and they're engaging. And that's what I really like about Disrupt HR. It's quick, to the point, and you can grab something and go. And plus, we're going to have appetizers as well as a free adult beverage.
Yes, and it is truly a party. And a DJ, and the DJ's off the chain too.
DJ Fuse.
Yes, DJ Fuse. We love DJ Fuse. So it really is a jovial atmosphere. It is not your average. It's not your average workshop by any stretch of the imagination. So I definitely highly recommend. I mean, I encourage you, and I say that if you want to be around business leaders, it's going to be at Western Tech University. Western Tech,
innovative, networking. And then we're also going to have some nonprofits there as well. So that I'm all about volunteering and giving back. And so what we provide we have volunteer organizations there as well. So we want you to network and network as well as give back to the community, because that's what we're all about as well.
Absolutely. And I'm telling you, it is a good time, and it's a time to learn and a time to make incredible connections. So that's two different networks and two different communities that Tephanie is a part of and that she's creating. We're so glad you came back to El Paso too.
Yes.
We're so happy that you did. And we want to encourage you to go to both. So you can find Tephanie's books at Wind Down Socorro. You can also come to the Disrupt HR event on August 14th. I'll put all the information and all of the links in the show notes, so you are good to go. And I just want to thank you, Tephanie, for your leadership and for your investment and engagement in the community. I'm blessed to know you. You have been just like a sister to me in this whole process of getting to know the people in the community, and you've been an inspiration. So thank you so much for everything that you do. And then if you just want to let us know one more time where we could find you on social media.
Yes. I want to thank Michelle for being a wonderful MC. After we did that event, that's what a lot of people were talking, like Michelle. She really provided the energy for Disrupt HR to keep it flowing and, getting the audience involved. So that's really wonderful as well. So that speaks a lot to you, Michelle.
Thank you.
And she also emceed my wedding. So that's another story, but yeah, she was really good at that. We were on the dance floor. We had a great time.
Yes.
So
thank you.
But yeah, if you want to follow me on LinkedIn, it's on the Tephanie Hopper. It's spelled like Stephanie without the S, Hopper. And then for the other things, like our Instagram is Colorful Chapters Bookstore, Instagram and Facebook. And then also DisruptHR El Paso is also on LinkedIn. And that's what we do. Most of our sharing is on LinkedIn because it is a business type event, business type program. So I will encourage you guys to follow us on DisruptHR El Paso on LinkedIn, Tephanie Hopper on LinkedIn, as well as Instagram and Facebook, Colorful Chapters Bookstore, to find out where we'll be next for Colorful Chapters Bookstore.
That's right. So we want to stay tuned, everybody. And thank you once again for your time. And make sure that you stay tuned to 5-Star Conversations in the Sun City. And if you want to stay connected and to learning more about incredible leaders and women and business owners that are just doing the thing and finding their passion and sharing it and where they'll be, just like with Tephanie, then make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much.
And thank you, Michelle, for inviting me to be on the 5-Star.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
Exciting, very exciting. And I wish you the best.
Thank you. Thank you so much.